Welcome to Yoga Sutras Workshop. This is Yoga Genie and I'm going to present to you today Yoga Sutras Workshop 1 to 3 and also 1.14 Yoga Sutra. So we're going to discuss Yoga Sutras 1 to 3, Atha yoganusasanam, Yogas citta vritti nirodhah, Tada, drastuh, svarupe, vasthanam, and also Yoga Sutra 114, Satu dirigea Hala, nairantarya, satkarasevito, drdhabhumih. And the Yoga Sutra is the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali by swami satchadananda. So what is a Yoga Sutra? The meaning of a Yoga Sutra is a thread. Sutras are a combination of words threaded together. Sometimes the sentences are not all formed together. They usually have subjects, propositions, and so on. And there are 200 sutras, short sutras. So we're going to go through Sutra 1, Atha yoganusasanam. I'm just going to read Yoga Sutra 1.1 and explain it. Atha is now, yoga is yoga. Yoganusasanam is an exposition or instruction. Now the exposition of yoga is being made. Yoganusasanam means exposition or instruction because it is not mere philosophy that Patanjali is about to expound, but rather direct instruction on how to practice yoga. Mere philosophy will not satisfy us. We cannot reach the goal by mere words alone. So without practice, nothing can be achieved. And we're just going to go and summarize it. So Atha is now, yoga is yoga, Yoganusasanam is an idea or an instruction. Patanjali presents that without practice, nothing can be achieved, meaning yoga practice is very important. So making a decision about yoga and that you're ready to start your practice, it takes time and it's a journey through yoga. Like life is a journey. You know, you go on this journey through life and you experience so many turmoils and it's not perfect, you know. So when you encounter different things in yoga, you encounter so many things. So we're going to go to Yoga Sutra 2. Yogas citta vritti nirodhah. So yogas is, citta is the mind stuff, the mind field. And vritti is modifications. Nirodhah is a restraint. So we're just going to read the Sutra 2. The restraint of the modification of the mind, the stuff is yoga. In this sutra, Patanjali gives the goal of yoga. For a keen student, this one sutra would be enough, because the rest of them only explain this one. If the restraint of the mental modifications is achieved, one has reached the goal of yoga. The entire science of yoga is based on this. Patanjali has given the definition of yoga and at the same time the practice. If you can control the rising of the mind into ripples, you will experience yoga. Now we will discuss the meaning of each word of the sutra. Normally, the word yoga is translated as union. But for a union, there should be two things to unite. In this case, what is to unite with what? So here we take yoga to mean the yogic experience, the extraordinary experience gained by controlling the modifications of the mind is itself called yoga. Citta is the sum total of the mind. To have a full practice of what Patanjali means by mind, you should know that within the citta are different levels. The basic mind is called ahamkara, or the ego, the I feeling. This gives rise to intellect or discriminative faculty, which is called buddhi. Another stage is called manas, the desiring parts of the mind, which gets attracted to outside things through the senses. For example, say you are quietly sitting enjoying the solitude with a nice smell come from the kitchen. The moment the manas records, I'm getting a fine smell from somewhere, the buddhi discriminates, what is this smell? I think it's cheese. How nice. What kind? Swiss. Yes, it's Swiss cheese. Then, once the buddhi decides, yes, it's a nice piece of Swiss cheese, like you enjoyed it in Switzerland last year, the ahamkara says, oh, is it? Then I should have some now. Then three things happen one at a time, but so quickly that we seldom distinguish between them. These modifications give rise to the effort to get the cheese. The want was created, and unless you fulfill it by peeping into the kitchen and eating the cheese, your mind won't go back to its original peaceful condition. The want is created, and the effort to fulfill the want. And once you fulfill it, you are back to your original peaceful position, so that normally you're in a peaceful state. That is the natural condition of the mind, but these citta vrittis, or the modifications of the mind, disturb that peace. All differences in the outside world are the outcome of the mental modifications. For example, imagine you have not seen your father since your birth, and he returns when you're 10 years old. He knocks at the door. Opening it, you see a strange face. You run to your mama, saying, Mama, there's a stranger at the door. Your mama comes and sees her long-lost husband. With all the joy, she receives him and introduces him as your father. You say, oh, my daddy. A few minutes before he was a stranger. Now he has become your daddy. Did he change into your daddy? No, he's the same person. You created the idea of a stranger. Then it changed to daddy. That's all. The entire outside world is based on your thoughts and mental attitude. The entire world is your own projection. Your values may change without a fraction of a second. Today you may not even want to see the one who was your sweet honey yesterday. If you remember that we won't put so much stress on outward things. That is why yoga does not bother much about changing the outside world. There is a Sanskrit saying, mana eva manusanam karanam bandha moksha. As the mind, so the person, bondage or liberation are in your own mind. If you feel bound, you are bound. If you feel liberated, you are liberated. Things outside neither bind nor liberate you. Only your attitude towards them does that. That is why, whenever I speak to prison inmates, I say, you all feel you are in prison and anxiously wait to get outside these walls. But look at the guards. Are they not like you? They are also within the same walls. Even though they are let out at night every morning, you see them back here. They love to come. You would love to get out. The enclosure is the same. To them it is not prison to you. It is. Is it? Why? Is there any change in the walls? No, you feel it is a prison. They feel that it is a place to work and earn. It is the mental attitude. If instead of imprisonment, you think of this as a place for your reformation, where an opportunity has been given you to change your attitude in life, to reform and purify yourself, you will love to be here until you feel purified. Even if they say your time is over, you can go. You may say, I am still not purified. I want to be here for more time. In fact, many such prisoners continue to lead a yogic life even after they left prison, and they were even thankful for that in prison life. That means they took it in the right way. So, if you can have control over the thoughts, forms, and change them as you want, you are not bound by the outside world. There is nothing wrong with the world. You can make it a heaven or a hell, according to your approach. That is why the entire yoga is based on the citta, vritti, nirodhah. If you control your mind, you've controlled everything, and then there's nothing in the world to bind you. So just going to summarize that. The meaning of Sutra 2. All the other sutras explain this one sutra, Yogas Citta Vritti Nirodhah. This sutra explains yoga. And if you can control your mind, you'll experience yoga. Then you have the levels of the mind. The levels of the mind are the citta, the sum total of the whole mind, like a storage house. The ahamkara, the ego, the feeling, the I-ness. The buddhi, the terminative faculty and intellect. The manas, it is the mind attracted to the outside things. Like what I was saying in the sutras about the cheese, now it's about the manas, for example, is the smell of the fresh tea or the smell of scones. The buddhi understands what the smell is, tea or scone. The ahamkara decides that I want tea and scones. And then if we don't get up and act on getting tea and scones, the mind becomes disturbed, agitated. It's the citta vritti, so that's where the yoga comes in. Everything is a projection of the mind. The reality is always the same. It's about how we control our mind. The world is based on our thoughts and attitude. Now we're going to go through Sutra 1.3, the Tada, drastuh, svarupe, vasthanam, how we see ourselves. So Tada is then, drastuh is the seer, sva is own, rup is in itself, the colour in itself, nature. Vasthanam is abides. So we're going to go through the Tada, drastuh, svarupe, vasthanam. The Tada is then, the drastuh is the sheer is va and its own, and the rup is in colour in, nature, and a vasthanam is abides. So then the sheer abides in his own nature. You are not the true seer, you are not the body nor the mind, you are the knower or seer. You always see your mind and body acting in front of you. You know that the mind creates thoughts it distinguishes and desires. The seer knows that, but is not involved in it. But to understand the eternal peaceful you, the mind must be quiet. Otherwise, it seems to distort the truth. If I explain that through an analogy, it would probably be easier to understand. You are the seer who wants to see itself. How? Even in this case of your physical face, if I ask if you've seen it, you have to say no, because it is the face that sees. The face itself is the seer on the subject. What it sees in the mirror is its image, the scene, or the subject. If the mirror is corrugated, curved, concave, or convex, will you be able to see your true face? No, it will appear to be awful, too big, or too high, or full of waves. Will you be worried seeing this? No, you will be immediately know something is wrong with the mirror. You are seeing a distorted reflection. Only if the mirror is perfectly smooth and clean will it give you the true reflection. Only then can you see face as it is. Only then can you see a face as it is. In the same way, the sheer or through you reflects in the mind, which is your mirror. Normally you can't see the true self because your mind is coloured. If the mind is dirty, you say, I am dirty. If it's all polished and shining, I am beautiful. That means you think that you're a reflection in the mind. If the mind has a lot of waves, like the surface of a lake, you will be seeing a distorted reflection. If the water of the metal lake is muddy or coloured, you see yourself as muddy or coloured. To see the true reflection, see the water is clean and calm and without any ripples. When the mind ceases to create thought, forms, or when the citta is completely free from vrittas, it becomes as clear as a still lake, and you see your true self. Hearing this analogy, you might turn around and ask me, does that mean the seer misunderstands itself or has forgotten itself? No, the seer can never misunderstand nor forget itself. But we are talking on the level of the reflection. The reflection is distorted, so that the seer appears to be distorted. The true you is always the same, but you appear to be distorted or mixed up with the mind. By making the mind clean and pure, you feel you have gone back, or you appear to have gone back to your original state. So we're just going to go through the Tada, then at the time, the drastuh, the sheer, the soul, the svarupe in his state, the vasthanam, the rests and abides. Just as I was saying when I was reading, then the sheer abides by his own nature. The sheer abides in his own nature. You're not the body or the mind. To have peace, learn to quiet the mind. And yoga teaches us to have peace of mind, so that we can have peace of the body and the soul. Practice yoga and meditation so that we can clear the mind of unnecessary thoughts, so that life will be bliss. So now we're just going to read the Sutra 114 and explain the sattu, dirigea, Hala, nairantarya, satkarasevito, drdhabhumih. So the sa is this, and tu is and. Dirigea is long, Kala is time, the nairantarya is without a break, continuous. Satkara is earnestness, asavita is well attended to, drdha is firm, and bhumi is ground. Practice becomes firmly grounded when well attended to for a long time without a break and all earnestness. The first qualification for the practice is that it should be done for a long time, and unfortunately we just want the result immediately. If I ask you to repeat a mantra and tell you that you will become more peaceful and realize beautiful things within you, you will go back home, repeat it for 3 days, and then call me, I've repeated it for 3 days, but nothing's happened. Maybe this is not a suitable mantra for me. Can you give me a different one? See, so Patanjali says for a long time. He doesn't say how long. And then it should be without break. I often hear, oh, I've been practicing yoga for the past 10 years, but I'm still the same. How often? Oh, off and on. So it must be continuous practice also. And the last qualification in all these earnestness, that means with full attention, with the entire application of your mind, and with full faith in your achievement, even when you want something or somebody on the worldly level, you will be after it day and night. You don't sleep. You don't eat. You are always at it. If this quality is necessary to achieve, not be little children who sow a seed then and then dig it up tomorrow to see how much the root went down. We need all these 3 qualities: patience, devotion, and faith. This reminds me of a small story given in the Hindu scriptures in the Deva Loka, or the heavenly plane, where the divine beings live there is. A great Maharishi sage called Narada, just as there are great yogas here, so there are among the gods. So Narada travels all over and sometimes comes to earth to see how we're doing. One day he was passing through a forest and saw a yoga student who has been meditating for so long the ants had built an anthill around his body. The yogi looked at Narada and said, "Narada, sir, where are you going?" "To heaven, to Lord Shiva's place." "Oh, could you please do something for me there?" "Sure, what can I do?" "Could you find out from the Lord for how many births I must meditate? I've been sitting here for quite a long time, so please find out." "Sure." Then Narada walked a few miles further and saw another man, but this one was jumping and dancing and singing with all joy. Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari 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 Krishna, Hari Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari. When he saw Narada, he said, "Hi Narada, where are you going to heaven?" "Oh, that's great. Could you please find out how long I have to be here like this? When will I get the final liberation?" "Sure I will." So after many years, Narada happened by the same route again and saw the first man. The yogi recognized Narada. "Narada, I haven't had any answer from you. Did you go to heaven?" "What did the Lord say?" "I asked the Lord, said you have to take another 4 births. Another 4 births. Haven't I waited long enough?" He started shouting and lamenting. Narada walked further and saw the second man, still singing and dancing. "Hi Narada, what happened? Did you get some news for me?" "Yes." "Well, tell me. Did you see that tree there?" "Sure. Can you count the leaves on it?" "Sure, I have the patience to do it. Do you want me to count them right away?" No. You can take your time to count." "But what has that got to do with the question?" "Well, Lord Shiva says you will have to take as many births as the number of leaves, so that three. "Oh, is that all? So at least it's a limited number then. Now I know where it ends." "That's fine. I can quickly finish it off." Thank God that he didn't say the leaves of the entire forest. Just then a beautiful palanquin came down from heaven, and the driver said to the second man, "Come on. Would you mind getting in? Lord Shiva has sent for you. I'm going to heaven now." "Yes, but just now Narada and I have to take so many more births first." "Yes, but it seems that you are ready and willing to do that, so why should you wait? Come on." And that's what the other man. And then what about the other man? He's not even ready to wait. 4 more births. Let him wait and work more. This is not a mere story. You can easily see the truth behind it. If you are patient, your mind is more settled, and what you will do will be more perfect. If you are unsettled and anxious to get the result, you are already disturbed. Nothing done with the disturbed mind will have quality. So it is not only how long you practice, but what patience, what earnestness, and what quality also. So, to summarize all of the sutras that we've been speaking about today, it's a practical, down to earth advice on mastering your mind, achieving physical, mental, and emotional harmony in life, and applying these techniques through Raja Yoga by practicing meditation, doing yoga, doing the dhyana, and doing dharana. Have the single pointed focus on these, and then you should have unnecessary thoughts. You should have your citta, vritti, and you should have your mind should be at peace, and you have patience and not ego, because it's so important that we take time for ourselves every day, for our mind and our body, so that you become more in touch with your own thoughts So I'd like to thank you for listening to the Yoga Sutra workshops today, and I hope that I've explained it well. So please like and just subscribe if you want to see any more videos next week. So thank you.